Detectives were called to Goncalves Road at 1 o'clock this morning after reports of shouting and the bang of an air rifle.
It appears that two different residences and people from those residences actually were engaged in a fight. Yes, it was out, we believe, out in the driveways and in the street.
10 people are believed to have been involved, brandishing knives, tomahawks and a baseball bat. With some evidence, alcohol may have exacerbated the confrontation.
I called the police straight away and they came over and ambulance arrived and 3 people were put into ambulances.
A 37-year-old Gladstone Park man died from stab wounds as a result. Another man is in a serious but non-life-threatening condition in St Vincent's Hospital. A third is recovering at the Royal Melbourne. Detectives are following a number of leads, but so far say ongoing bad relations between the families sparked the deadly dispute.
Also, a line of inquiry is that there was some previous relationship between members of each house.
Neighbours say Goncalves Road is a tale of two streets, with a conservative family set on one side and a rougher presence on the other.
People would drive fast, so you can see the road. All the skiing they do.
It does concern me. I have a 2.5-year-old grandson.
Richard Goncalves, National 9 News. A total fire ban and one of the hottest nights this year didn't stop arsonists from deliberately lighting 4 small fires, which quickly merged into one large blaze. An area the size of about 5 football fields went up in flames in part of the Northern Memorial Park, threatening homes and reaching within metres of properties along Andrew Street.
And given the windless conditions in the early hours of the morning here, we were lucky to get it under control in time before it actually hit the built-up area.
Firefighters stayed overnight and by daybreak it was clear just how lucky homeowners were.
Could have got a lot more serious, and neighbours down the road burnt alongside their fence lines.
I don't know, scared.
The blaze prompted the D'Angelo family to clear potential fire hazards near their property.
Great work by the firemen. Yeah, really responsive too, so it was great.
Well, no homes were destroyed. 1 fire truck was damaged and this one behind me broke down this morning. That's 2 trucks out of action because of this incident at a time when resources are scarce.
And that's 3 more appliances that we won't be able to provide to assist the CFA today.
Police are now urging anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers.
What are you going to do? Unless you catch the bastard, then put him behind the bars.
Richard Goncalves, National 9 News. Neighbours were awoken at 2:15 this morning to hear an unregistered VL Commodore screeching through O'Grady's Road. The driver lost control after he swiped a traffic island, slamming it into a tree before it burst into flames, coming to rest along a resident's fence.
The fire was completely engulfed inside, and there was the undercover police were around too, and they told me, get back inside, it's going to blow, get back inside. So I just went back inside. The
24-year-old male driver survived and was airlifted to the Alfred Hospital with just a broken leg. But his passenger, a 17-year-old Frankston woman, died on impact. Their names haven't been released. The chase started 3 kilometres from the accident site and lasted just under 3 minutes. Police have defended the officers.
The car had no number plates on it, and that was the reason for the pursuit, to find out what the origins of the vehicle was.
While a police pursuit on this street is out of the ordinary, neighbours say reckless and speeding drivers aren't. They want to see speed humps constructed to slow them down.
It's known for hoons going up and down this street very fast, so yeah, it's just a notorious stretch of road.
I bought this house 19 months ago, and there's been 3 accidents like this in 19 months.
Investigations into the circumstances surrounding the collision continue. Richard Goncalves, National 9 News. A year to the day after his execution, the bells tolled for Van Nguyen.
Today there was a sense of hope as we celebrated and looked through symbols of the incense. The bells ringing today were not the bells of sadness, they were the bells of a new life.
His brother wasn't there, but around 100 family members and friends were to support Van's mother.
I think she appreciates the strength and the solidarity of people who are gathered around her.
The memorial then continued on the beach, where Van's mother placed flowers along St Kilda's foreshore. The service has also highlighted the plight of other Australians on death row. with church leaders calling on the federal government to clearly oppose the execution of those facing the death penalty in the Bali Nine.
I think the Australian community would like to hear the Prime Minister say that he's opposed to the execution of these 6 young Australians.
Van's lawyer, Lex Lasry, who is also representing some of the Bali Nine, says the government's non-opposition of Saddam Hussein's planned execution is sending mixed messages.
The Australian government really ought to take the public position that in all circumstances they're opposed to the death penalty.
Richard Goncalves, National 9 News. Bev Brock and her children are at breaking point.
It's just been, you know, one continual thing, and everybody has a limit. And I'll be honest, we're pretty much there.
Since his death in September, the motor racing legend's been accused of domestic violence. Now his estate's the subject of a bitter legal dispute.
It's now out of our hands.
The family won't reveal the exact details being debated between a number of parties, including Peter's partner, Julie Bamford. The Peter Brock Foundation is not involved in the legal wrangling, but his daughter's application to be on its board was rejected. Chairman and brother Lewis Brock says it was Peter who picked the 4-member board that includes Ms Bamford.
It was a selection that he chose, and we're going to abide by his wishes.
It was my dad's legacy. It'd be brilliant to be part of that.
It comes as the Brocks prepare to vacate their home. Peter sold the property in May for more than $2 million when he split with Bev, despite a promise to keep it in the family after 140 years.
It's sort of just the final blow, really.
While the family will need to leave the farm, Brocky's kids take some comfort in knowing he'll never leave their side. His ashes lie with them in their bedrooms. Richard Goncalves, National 9 News. Mother of 2, Rita Panagakis, doesn't believe in smacking her kids.
I think that it probably scars the relationship with parents and children more so.
She believes there's always other ways to discipline a child.
We're going through a behavioural allowance thing, so if they misbehave, they don't get part of their allowance, and we sit down and we talk about what the costs are.
Not all parents agree though. A survey by the Australian Childhood Foundation has found many parents believe it's okay to smack a child. Of the key findings, 1 in 8 people say smacking a child under the age of 2 is acceptable. 1 in 10 say it's appropriate to use belts and canes, while 45% believe it's reasonable to leave a mark on a child as a result of physical punishment.
That just leaves children at an unacceptable level of risk.
The foundation is calling on state governments to place a smacking ban on parents.
They're failing under their obligations under international law, and they're also failing kids if we don't change this law now.
We don't believe that there's any need to change the laws at this stage.
Some parents believe there are instances where a little tap is warranted.
Well, if they're going to run on the road and you've said be careful, stop at the curb, and they're putting themselves at danger or others.
It's used as a last resort only.
And it's important to sort of realise when it doesn't work and to stop doing it.
Richard Goncalves, National 9 News.